DeMar Darnell DeRozan, born August 7, 1989, is an American professional basketball player who last played for the Sacramento Kings of the National Basketball Association, NBA. He played college basketball for the USC Trojans and was selected 9th overall by the Toronto Raptors in the 2009 NBA Draft. Nicknamed Deebo, DeRozan is a 6-time NBA All-Star and a 3-time All-NBA team member. DeRozan is currently 4th among active NBA players on the all-time scoring list. DeRozan spent 9 seasons with the Raptors, where he became the franchise's all-time leading scorer and led the team to 5 playoff runs. He was traded to the San Antonio Spurs in the summer of 2018 and the Chicago Bulls in 2021. He was traded to the Sacramento Kings in the summer of 2024. DeRozan won a gold medal with the United States national team in the 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Summer Olympics. Early life: DeRozan was born on August 7, 1989, in Compton, California, to Frank and Diane DeRozan. Frank died in 2021. High school career: DeRozan attended Compton High School and was ranked as one of the top college recruits in the nation from the class of 2008. He was ranked number 3 in the nation by Rivals.com and number 6 by Scout.com. He played on the varsity basketball team for all 4 years of high school. As a freshman, he averaged 26.1 points and 8.4 rebounds. During his sophomore year, he averaged 22.6 points and 8.4 rebounds, while as a junior, he averaged 22.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, 3.0 assists, and 3.2 steals. As a senior, averaging 29.2 points and 7.9 rebounds per game, DeRozan led Compton High School to a 26-6 record, a second consecutive Moore League championship, and the CIF Division YAA Southern Section quarterfinals. For his efforts, he was awarded the Moore League Most Valuable Player Award and named to the California All-State team. DeRozan was a member of the 2008 McDonald's All-American team and also won the 2008 McDonald's All-American Slam Dunk competition. He was also invited to play in the 2008 Jordan Brand Classic at Madison Square Garden and the Nike Hoop Summit, where he scored a team-high 17 points. DeRozan's achievements on the court in his senior year saw him earn First-Team Parade All-American honors and First-Team Best in the West honors. College career: DeRozan during a practice at the 2009 NCAA tournament. In November 2007, DeRozan signed a letter of intent to play basketball at USC. He chose USC over Arizona and North Carolina. In his first game for the Trojans, DeRozan scored a team-high 21 points with 7 rebounds in an exhibition game against Azusa Pacific, an 85-64 victory at the Galen Center. DeRozan had 14 points in his first career regular season game in a win over UC Irvine. He scored 21 points along with a career-high 13 rebounds against UCLA in the Pac-10 tournament semifinals, before scoring a career-high 22 points on 10 for 16 shooting to lead his team to a 61-49 win over Arizona State in the Pac-10 tournament final. His efforts in the tournament saw him earn First-Team Pac-10 All-Freshman honors, in addition to being named Pac-10 Tournament MVP. The Trojans went to the 2009 NCAA Men's Division I basketball tournament as a 10th seed, where they lost in the second round to Michigan State. DeRozan started all 35 season games for the Trojans, scoring in double figures 28 times and posting 4 double-doubles. He ranked 3rd on team in points, 13.9 ppg, 2nd in rebounds, 5.7 rpg, 3rd in assists, 1.5 apg, and 2nd in field goal percentage, 523, 8th best in conference. DeRozan followed his regular season efforts by averaging 19.8 points in USC's 5 postseason games. His 485 points ranks third all-time, and his 201 rebounds is fourth all-time for a USC freshman. Professional career: Toronto Raptors, 2009 to 2018. DeRozan shooting over Jermaine O'Neal in a 2009 game, early years, 2009-2013. On April 8, 2009, DeRozan announced his decision to enter the 2009 NBA draft and forego his final 3 years of eligibility at USC. On June 25, 2009, he was selected 9th overall by the Toronto Raptors in the 2009 draft. He stated that part of the reason he left for the NBA after only 1 year at USC was to help take better care of his mother, who has lupus. On July 9, 2009, DeRozan signed his rookie-scale contract with the Raptors. As the fourth contestant in the 2010 Sprite Slam Dunk competition, DeRozan lost in the final round against three-time champion Nate Robinson. The final percentage was 51% to 49%. DeRozan was selected to compete for the 2011 Sprite Slam Dunk competition as a replacement for injured guard Brandon Jennings. He finished in third place. On December 31, 2010, DeRozan scored a then-career-high 37 points against the Houston Rockets. He matched that career high 2 more times over the next 3 years, against the Utah Jazz on November 12, 2012, and against the Chicago Bulls on November 15, 2013, first All-Star appearance, 2013 to 2015. On January 22, 2014, DeRozan scored a then-career-high 40 points against the Dallas Mavericks, shooting 15 of 22 from the field. On January 30th, DeRozan was selected for the 2014 NBA All-Star Game as a reserve guard for the Eastern Conference All-Star Team. He finished the game with 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 15 minutes. On February 1st, he recorded a 36 points and a career-high 12 assists in a loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. On March 28th, he led the Raptors to a playoff berth for the first time since 2008 with a victory over the Boston Celtics. He scored 30 points in the win, along with 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. On April 13th, he scored 30 points against the Detroit Pistons to lead the Raptors to tie a franchise record of 47 wins. DeRozan's 2013-20 season was a breakout year, averaging career highs of 22.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, 4.0 assists, 30% from beyond the arc, and finished 4th in total free throws made and 7th in attempts. He led the Raptors to a 48-34 record and a 3rd seed finish in the Eastern Conference. In DeRozan's first playoff game against the Brooklyn Nets on April 19, 2014, DeRozan scored 14 points on a 3 of 13 shooting as the game resulted in a loss. In Game 2, DeRozan bounced back and scored 30 points on 9 of 21 shooting in a 195 win. On April 25th, he recorded 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in a loss. That 30-point game made DeRozan the first Raptor to score 30 points in back-to-back playoffs games and the first Raptor to score 30 in multiple playoff games since Vince Carter. The Raptors went on to lose to the Nets in 7 games. In the Raptors' season-opening game of the 2014-15 season against the Atlanta Hawks in Toronto, DeRozan recorded career highs with 11 rebounds and 6 steals, along with 15 points, in a 109-102 win. On November 29, 2014, he was ruled out indefinitely with a torn left adductor longus tendon. He sustained the injury the night before at the 8:23 mark of the third quarter against the Dallas Mavericks and did not return. On January 14, 2015, he returned to action, scoring 20 points on 9 of 14 shooting in a 184 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. On March 2nd, he scored a season-high 35 points in a 114-103 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. On March 30th, DeRozan scored a career-high 42 points in a 99-96 win over the Houston Rockets. On April 17th, he was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for April, joining Kyle Lowry, December 2014, and Chris Bosh, January 2007, as the only players in team history to be named Player of the Month. On April 24th, in Game 3 of the Raptors' first-round playoff series with the Washington Wizards, DeRozan scored a playoff career-high 32 points, while scoring a franchise playoff record 20 points in the first quarter, surpassing Vince Carter's previous record of 19 points in a first quarter of a playoff game. Conference Finals loss, 2015-2016. On November 10, 2015, DeRozan scored a then-season-high 29 points in a loss to the New York Knicks. Reaching the 15-point mark for the 8th straight game to start the season, he became the first Raptor since Chris Bosh in 2009-10 to accomplish the feat. On December 14th, DeRozan was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week for games played December 7-13th, earning the honor for the first time in his 7-year career, and became the 7th player in team history to be named Player of the Week. On January 8th, he scored a then-season-high 35 points in a 97-88 win over the Washington Wizards. On January 28th, he was named an Eastern Conference All-Star reserve for the 2016 NBA All-Star Game, earning his second All-Star nod in 3 years. On February 2nd, DeRozan and teammate Kyle Lowry were selected as co-winners for Eastern Conference Player of the Month for January. The pair helped the Raptors go 12-2 during the month and recorded a franchise record 11-game win streak. On February 22nd, he became the winningest player in Raptors history, passing Chris Bosh and Morris Peterson with his 233rd career win. With 22 points, he helped the Raptors defeat the New York Knicks 122-95. On March 4th, he scored a season-high 38 points in a 117-115 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. In that game, he set an NBA record with 24 consecutive free throws made in one game. On March 12th, he tied his season high of 38 points while also recording 10 rebounds and 7 assists in a 112-104 overtime win over the Miami Heat. On March 30th, he scored 26 points in a 105-97 win over the Atlanta Hawks, helping the Raptors record a 50-win season for the first time in franchise history. On April 10th, he scored 27 points in a 93-89 win over the New York Knicks in New York, setting a franchise record with 23 road victories in a season. DeRozan also moved ahead of Vince Carter for second on the Raptors' career scoring list, trailing only Chris Bosh. The Raptors finished the regular season as the second seed in the Eastern Conference with a 56-26 record. In the first round of the playoffs, the Raptors faced the 7th-seeded Indiana Pacers, and in a Game 5 win on April 26th, DeRozan scored 34 points to help the Raptors take a 3-2 series lead. In Game 7 of the series, DeRozan scored 30 points to help the Raptors win a best-of-7 series for the first time in franchise history. With a 4-3 series victory over the Pacers, the Raptors moved on to the second round to face the Miami Heat. In Game 5 of the Raptors series with the Heat, DeRozan again scored 34 points to help the Raptors take a 3-2 series lead with a 99-91 win. In Game 7 of the series, he scored 28 points in a 116-89 win over the Heat, helping the Raptors advance to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. In Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, DeRozan scored 32 points to help the Raptors win 105-99 and tie the series at 2-2. The Raptors went on to lose the next 2 games to bow out of the playoffs with a 4-2 defeat. First All-NBA selection, 2016 to 2017, DeRozan shooting a jump shot over Bradley Beal in 2016. On July 14, 2016, DeRozan re-signed with the Raptors to a 5-year, $139 million contract. In the Raptors' season opener on October 26, 2016, DeRozan had his third career 40-point outing in a 109-91 win over the Detroit Pistons. 2 days later, he had a 32-point effort in a 94-91 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. DeRozan's combined 72 points bested Vince Carter's franchise record of 65 for the most points through the first 2 games of a season set in the 2003-04 season. With a 33-point effort on October 31st against the Denver Nuggets, DeRozan became the first ever Raptor with 3 straight 30-point games to begin a season. With 40 points against the Washington Wizards on November 2nd, DeRozan tied Mike James's franchise record with 4 consecutive 30-point games. He passed that mark 2 days later, scoring 34 points in a 96-87 win over the Miami Heat. His 5 straight 30-point games set the best such start to a season since Michael Jordan did it for 6 straight games to open the 1986-87 season. On November 12th, he scored 33 points against the New York Knicks for his 8th 30-point game in 9 games, becoming only the 4th player to register 30-plus points in 8 of the first 9 games of a season, joining Michael Jordan, World B. Free, and Tiny Archibald. With 34 points against the Golden State Warriors on November 16th, DeRozan became the first NBA player with 9 30-point games in his team's first 11 games since Jordan in 1987-88. DeRozan's 6 field goals against the Los Angeles Lakers on December 2nd saw him pass Vince Carter, 3,136, for second on the franchise's all-time list. Chris Bosh still led at the time with 3,614. On December 28th, he scored 29 points against Golden State and became Toronto's career scoring leader, 10,290, passing Bosch's 10,275 points. On January 8, 2017, DeRozan scored 36 points in a 129-122 loss to the Houston Rockets, setting a career high with his 18th 30-plus point game of the season. 2 days later, he recorded a season-high 41 points and a career-high 13 rebounds in a 114-106 win over the Boston Celtics. On January 19th, DeRozan was named a starter on the Eastern Conference All-Star team for the 2017 NBA All-Star Game, becoming the 4th Raptors player to be named a starter after Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, and Kyle Lowry. On February 6, 2017, after missing 7 of the team's previous 8 games with a sprained ankle, DeRozan shot 50% from the field and put up 31 points in a 118-109 win over the Los Angeles Clippers. On February 24th, he scored a career-high 43 points to help the Raptors rally from a 17-point deficit to beat the Boston Celtics 107-97. DeRozan shot 15 of 28 from the floor, as he surpassed his 42-point effort against the Houston Rockets on March 30, 2015. After scoring 42 points against Chicago on March 21st, DeRozan scored 40 points against Miami 2 days later, thus registering back-to-back 40-point games for the first time in his career. On March 31st, he scored 40 points in a 107-100 win over the Indiana Pacers. It was DeRozan's 7th 40-point game of the season and 30th game of 30 points or more, tying Vince Carter's 2001 franchise mark. With 38 points against Miami on April 7th, DeRozan broke Carter's franchise record with his 31st 30-point game of the season. On April 9th, DeRozan shot 11 for 15 from the field for 35 points against the New York Knicks and became the second player in franchise history with a 2,000-point season. Carter scored 2,107 in 1999-00 and 2,070 in 2001. The win over the Knicks was the Raptors' 50th of the season and helped them lock up at least the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. DeRozan finished the season with a career-high 2,020 points, while his 27.3 average marked the second highest in franchise history. Carter averaged 27.6 in 2001. On April 27, 2017, DeRozan scored 32 points in a 92-89 win over the Milwaukee Bucks, helping the Raptors take their first-round playoff series in 6 games. The Raptors went on to lose in a clean sweep to the Cavaliers in the second round. DeRozan appeared in all 10 playoff games, averaging 22.4 points, 4.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.4 steals per game. On May 18, 2017, DeRozan was named in the All-NBA third team for the first time in his career. Final year in Toronto, 2017, 2018. DeRozan in 2018. On November 3, 2017, DeRozan scored 37 points in a 109-100 win over the Utah Jazz, with 17 points and his third career 4-point play coming in the third quarter. On December 13, 2017, he matched his season high with 37 points in a 115-109 win over the Phoenix Suns. On December 21, 2017, he set a career high with 45 points in a 114-109 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. He also set a career high with 6 three-pointers in 9 attempts. On January 1, 2018, DeRozan scored a franchise record 52 points to help the Raptors beat the Milwaukee Bucks 131-127 in overtime, matching the team record with their 12th consecutive home victory. DeRozan was the first player in NBA history to score 50-plus points on New Year's Day. He also became the third player in Raptors history to score 50 or more in a single game, the others being Vince Carter and Terrence Ross, who each had 51. On January 8, 2018, he scored 35 points, including a go-ahead 3-point play with 26.1 seconds left in overtime to lift the Raptors to a 114-113 win over the Brooklyn Nets. On January 13, 2018, he had a 42-point effort in a 127-125 loss to the Golden State Warriors. On January 18, 2018, DeRozan was chosen as an NBA All-Star starter for the second consecutive season, marking his 4th overall selection to the game, leaving him 3rd overall in franchise history behind Vince Carter and Chris Bosh at the time, both of whom had been selected on 5 occasions. DeRozan joined Carter and Kyle Lowry as the only player with consecutive NBA All-Star starter selections. On February 1, 2018, he was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for January. On February 2, 2018, he scored 35 points in a 130-105 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. DeRozan made 11 of 22 shots and matched his career high by making 6 three-pointers to finish 6 for 10 from long range. On March 7, 2018, he scored 42 points in a 121-119 overtime win over the Detroit Pistons. In Game 2 of the Raptors' first-round playoff series against the Washington Wizards, DeRozan matched his career playoff high with 37 points, as Toronto took a 2-0 lead in a playoff series for the first time in franchise history with a 130-119 win. It was his 12th career 30-point game in the postseason. In Game 4, DeRozan recorded 35 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds in a 106-98 loss. The Raptors went on to win the series in 6 games. In the second round, the Raptors were once again swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers. To add insult to injury, DeRozan was ejected for a flagrant 2 foul on Jordan Clarkson late in the fourth quarter in Game 4. This was his final game with Toronto. For the season, DeRozan was named to the All-NBA second team. DeRozan finished the 2017-18 season as the franchise leader in a number of categories, including regular season games played, wins, total minutes, field goals both attempted and made, and free throws both made and attempted. DeRozan received intensive criticism for his benching in Toronto's Game 3 loss to Cleveland, where Toronto would make a comeback with DeRozan on the bench. San Antonio Spurs, 2018-2021. First-round playoff exit, 2018-2019. DeRozan with the Spurs in 2019. On July 18, 2018, DeRozan was traded, along with Jacob Poeltl, and a protected 2019 first-round draft pick, to the San Antonio Spurs in exchange for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. The trade was controversial because DeRozan was a fan favorite in Toronto and had not been consulted about the trade by Raptors president Masai Ujiri beforehand. However, there was a perception that DeRozan was not a strong playoff performer, and trading away DeRozan's large contract freed up significant salary cap space. In his debut for the Spurs in their season opener on October 17, 2018, DeRozan had 28 points in a 112-108 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. On October 22, he had 32 points and 14 assists in a 143-142 overtime win over the Los Angeles Lakers. On October 29, he had 34 points and 9 assists in a 113-108 overtime win over the Dallas Mavericks. On November 3, he scored 26 points in a 109-95 win over the New Orleans Pelicans, thus scoring at least 25 points in 7 of the team's first 8 games. The only other San Antonio player to do so was George Gervin in 1978-79. On December 2, he had a season-high 36 points in a 131-118 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. On December 7, he recorded 36 points and 9 assists in a 133-120 win over the Lakers. On January 3, he recorded his first career triple-double with 21 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in a 125-107 win over his former team, the Toronto Raptors. DeRozan also recorded his first double-double in a half. On February 22, he played his first game in Toronto in a Spurs uniform. He finished the game with 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists. On April 16, 2019, during Game 2 of the first round of the playoffs, DeRozan scored 31 points in a 105-114 loss to the Denver Nuggets. The Spurs would go on to lose the series in 7 games. His old team, the Raptors, would go on to win the 2019 NBA Finals. Back-to-back postseason absences, 2019 to 2021. On January 29, 2020, DeRozan scored a season-high 38 points, alongside 5 assists, in a 127-120 win over the Utah Jazz. On March 10th, he logged a season-high 12 assists, along with 13 points, in a 119-109 win over the Dallas Mavericks. After the NBA season was suspended in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Spurs were one of 22 teams invited to the NBA bubble. However, after finishing with a record of 32-39, the team failed to qualify for the playoffs, marking the first time since 2013 that DeRozan's team did not reach the postseason. On April 26, 2021, DeRozan scored a season-high 37 points, alongside 10 assists, in a 146-143 overtime win over the Washington Wizards. 4 days later, he logged a career-high tying 14 assists in a 140-143 overtime loss to the Boston Celtics. Although they qualified for the newly implemented play-in tournament, the Spurs suffered a 96-100 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies on May 19th, eliminating the team from playoff contention for the second straight season. Chicago Bulls, 2021, 2024. Bounce back, and third, All-NBA selection, 2021-2022. DeRozan with the Chicago Bulls in 2022. On August 11, 2021, DeRozan signed with the Chicago Bulls on a 3-year, $85 million contract in a sign-and-trade deal. The Bulls sent Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, a protected first-round draft pick, and 2 second-round draft picks to the Spurs in exchange. As his usual number 10 was retired by the Bulls in honor of Bob Love, DeRozan switched to wear number 11. On October 20th, DeRozan made his Bulls debut, putting up 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals in a 94-88 win over the Detroit Pistons. On November 1st, he scored a then-season-high 37 points on 15 of 20 shooting, along with 7 rebounds, to lead the Bulls to a 128-114 comeback victory over the Boston Celtics, overcoming a 19-point deficit on the road. He would match those 37 points 2 days later, while grabbing 10 rebounds in a 103-98 loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. On December 31st, DeRozan hit a game-winning one-legged three at the buzzer to award the Bulls a 108-106 road victory over the Indiana Pacers on a night where he recorded 28 points and 6 assists. On January 1, 2022, DeRozan had 28 points and made yet another game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, giving Chicago a 120-119 road victory over the Washington Wizards, and becoming the first player in NBA history with a game-winning buzzer beater on consecutive days. On January 23rd, DeRozan scored a then-season-high 41 points on 15 of 21 shooting from the field in a 114-95 loss to the Orlando Magic. On January 27th, DeRozan was selected to his 5th NBA All-Star game, his 3rd start, and his first All-Star selection since 2018, where he started in his hometown for the 2018 NBA All-Star Game. On February 6th, DeRozan scored a then-season-high 45 points, along with 9 rebounds and 7 assists, in a 119-108 loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. On February 14th, DeRozan scored 19 of his 40 points in the fourth quarter and delivered 7 assists in a 120-109 win over his former team, the San Antonio Spurs. This was his 6th straight 35-point game, breaking Michael Jordan's franchise record of 5 straight 35-point games. He also tied Wilt Chamberlain's record of the longest consecutive streaks of such games while shooting at least 50%. DeRozan shot 50, 59.3, 60, 63.6, 66.7, and 68.4%. On February 16th, in a 125-118 victory over the Sacramento Kings, DeRozan broke the record by scoring 38 points, with 6 rebounds and 6 assists, to become the first player in NBA history to score 35 or more points and shoot 50% or better in 7 consecutive games. By the end of February, the Bulls were in contention for the best record in the East, and DeRozan was considered a MVP frontrunner. The 2022 NBA All-Star Game in Cleveland was DeRozan's 3rd time as a starter and the first since 2018, and 5th selection overall. Selected by LeBron James, his squad defeated Kevin Durant's 163-160. On February 24th, in a 112-108 victory over the Atlanta Hawks, DeRozan scored 37 points, including the winning basket, and he pushed his league mark of scoring at least 35 points while shooting 50% or better to 8 consecutive games. On February 27th, DeRozan scored 31 points and grabbed 7 rebounds in a 116-110 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. It marked DeRozan's 10th consecutive 30-point game, the longest such streak by a Bulls player since Michael Jordan in 1990-91. As DeRozan shot 10 of 29 from the field, this game ending his NBA record run of 8 games of scoring at least 35 while shooting 50% or better, and was ejected in the closing seconds. On March 3rd, DeRozan was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for February. It was his fourth Career Player of the Month nod. On March 31st, DeRozan scored 27 of his season-high 50 points in the fourth quarter and overtime, just 2 points shy of his career high, along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists in a 135-130 overtime win over the Los Angeles Clippers. DeRozan finished the regular season as the NBA leading scorer in the fourth quarter with 612 points. On April 20th, during Game 2 of the first round of the playoffs, DeRozan scored a career playoff-high 41 points in a 114-110 win over the reigning champions Milwaukee Bucks. The Bulls would go on to lose to the Bucks in 5 games. At 20,000 points, 2022 to 2024. Since the 2022-23 season, DeRozan has joined an elite group of players to reach 20,000 points in their career. On October 19th, DeRozan posted 37 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists in a 116-108 win over the Miami Heat, making him and Michael Jordan the only players in Bulls history to tally at least 35 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in a season opener. On October 28th, DeRozan scored 33 points in a 129-124 loss against his former team, the San Antonio Spurs, and he became just the 50th player in NBA history to achieve 20,000 career points. On November 4th, DeRozan scored a then-season-high 46 points in a 123-119 loss to the Boston Celtics. On December 28th, DeRozan recorded 42 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in an 119-113 overtime win over the Milwaukee Bucks. On January 2nd, 2023, DeRozan scored 44 points in a 145-134 overtime loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers. On February 2nd, DeRozan was selected to play as an Eastern Conference reserve in the 2023 NBA All-Star Game, his second consecutive selection as a member of the Bulls. On March 17th, DeRozan put up season-highs 49 points and 14 rebounds, while Zach LaVine put up 39 points in a 139-131 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their 88 combined points surpassed Michael Jordan and Horace Grant's previous record of 85 to become the most points scored in a game by a duo in Bulls history. On December 12, 2023, DeRozan passed Clyde Drexler for 35th in the NBA all-time scoring list in loss to the Denver Nuggets. On March 13, 2024, DeRozan scored a season-high 46 points and grabbed 9 rebounds in a 132-129 overtime win over the Indiana Pacers. He also passed Elgin Baylor, Dwyane Wade, and Adrian Dantley to enter 32nd place on the NBA all-time scoring list. He made a fadeaway mid-range shot at the buzzer in the same game to send it into overtime. DeRozan finished the season as the runner-up for the Clutch Player of the Year award. Sacramento Kings, 2024-26. On July 8, 2024, DeRozan signed with the Sacramento Kings on a 3-year, $74 million contract in a sign-and-trade deal that also involved one of his former teams, the San Antonio Spurs, with Chris Duarte, Raekwon Gray, and draft considerations to going to Chicago and Harrison Barnes to San Antonio. On February 10, 2025, DeRozan scored a season-high 42 points, including a baseline floater with 2 seconds left in overtime to lead the Kings to a 129-128 win over the Dallas Mavericks. On March 20th, DeRozan scored 22 points in a 128-116 loss to the Chicago Bulls, becoming the 27th player to achieve 25,000 career points. On April 11th, DeRozan moved past Reggie Miller into 25th place on the NBA all-time scoring list. DeRozan finished the season averaging 22.2 points per game and, in the process, became just the sixth player in NBA history, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, LeBron James, to average 20-plus points per game in 12 or more straight seasons, minimum 60 games played per season. On January 14, 2026, DeRozan recorded 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in a 112-101 win over the New York Knicks. He passed Kevin Garnett to move into 22nd place on the NBA's all-time scoring list. On February 26th, DeRozan moved into 20th place on the NBA's all-time scoring list, surpassing John Havlicek and Paul Pierce during a 130-121 win over the Dallas Mavericks. On March 15th, DeRozan scored a season-high 41 points and recorded 11 assists to lead the Kings to a 116-111 victory over the Utah Jazz. With the performance, he became the oldest player in NBA history to record a 40-point, 10-assist game. On April 5th, DeRozan moved into 16th place on the NBA's all-time scoring list, surpassing Oscar Robertson during a 138-109 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. On July 6, 2026, DeRozan was waived by the Kings. Denver Nuggets, 2000. On August 21, 2026, DeRozan signed a one-year, $3.9 million contract with the Denver Nuggets. NBA career records: Toronto Raptors franchise records, regular season, most games played, 675, most minutes played, 22,986, most points scored, 13,296, most field goals, 4,700, most two-point field goals, 4,300, and most free throws made, 3,539, awards and honors, high school and college, 2006, All-Moore League First Team, 2007, All-Moore League First Team, 2007, named to the Los Angeles Times, First Team, 2008, Parade Magazine, All-America First Team, 2008, Long Beach, Press-Telegram's Best in the West, First Team, 2008, McDonald's High School All-American, 2008, Jordan Brand, All-American Classic, 2008, Southern California, Interscholastic Basketball Coaches Association, ITEAAA, Player of the Year, tied with 2 others, 2008, All-State Team, 2009, Pac-10 Tournament Champion, 2009, named Most Outstanding Player in Pac-10. Tournament Nom. 10. Retired by USC Trojans NBA Achievements. All-NBA Second Team, 2018-2022. All-NBA Third Team, 2017. NBA All-Star, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2022, 2023. NBA All-Star, Rising Star, 2011. NBA Minutes Played Leaders, 2024. Magic Johnson. Award, 2018. NBA Eastern Conference, Player of the Month, April 2015, January 2016, January 2018, February 2022, NBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week, December 7th to 13th, 2015, November 7th to 13th, 2016, December 12th, 18th, 2016, January 9th to 15th, 2017, March 20th, 26th, 2017, November 13th to 19th, 2017, December 18, 24, 17, January 7th, 2018, February 26th, March 4th, 2018, November 29th, December 5th, 2021, December 27th, 2021, January 2nd, 2022, February 17th, 2022, March 4th, 10, 2024 NBA Western Conference Player of the Week, January 6 to 12, 2020. National Team Career DeRozan with Team USA at the 2014 World Basketball Festival. DeRozan was a member of the United States national team that won the gold medal in the 2014 FIBA Basketball World Cup. In 9 games, he averaged 4.8 points, 1.0 rebounds, and 1.2 assists per game. He made a second appearance for Team USA at the 2016 Summer Olympics. DeRozan averaged 6.6 points, 1.4 rebounds, and 0.9 assists in 7 games for Team USA in helping them win the Olympic gold medal. Personal life. DeRozan is the son of Frank and Diane DeRozan. DeRozan's mother was diagnosed with lupus when he was a small child. While with the Raptors, DeRozan helped raise awareness and educate Canadians on the disease in part by partnering with Lupus Canada. DeRozan lost his father, Frank DeRozan, on February 19, 2021, after battling several long-time health issues. He said he would regularly fly to Los Angeles from San Antonio or any city he was playing in to be by his side throughout his last moments. DeRozan has a daughter born in 2013 named Diar, who gained national attention in 2023 after consistently shrieking during free throws in the Bulls' play-in tournament game against the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors shot just 18 of 36 from the free throw line, with many calling Diar an integral piece of the Bulls' 109-105 victory. After the game, Raptors forward Scottie Barnes admitted that the screaming had an impact on Toronto's free throw shooting. Diar later received several online threats. DeRozan has openly struggled with depression and is an advocate for others suffering with it. After DeRozan and fellow NBA player Kevin Love spoke publicly on mental health, it prompted the NBA to add a new rule that requires a team to have at least one full-time licensed mental health professional on their staff. The duo also appeared in a PSA video by the NBA that launched the new mental health professional program alongside a new website with various mental health resources. In 2024, DeRozan's book, Above the Noise, My Story of Chasing Calm, was published by Harmony Books. The book describes his experiences with depression, growth, and the slow process of healing. DeRozan is nicknamed Deebo after the character from the 1995 film Friday. He received the name as a 6th grader when he beat up an 8th grader during a basketball game at school. DeRozan has reflected on the awareness of his neighborhood nickname. When people call me that, you have to know me from back home. So when it started carrying over to the NBA, I was just like, I don't know how it got to the league. DeRozan was mentioned in Not Like Us, a diss track by the American rapper and fellow Compton native Kendrick Lamar, amidst his highly publicized feud with the Canadian rapper Drake in May 2024. He was invited on stage during the 2024 The Pop Out Ken and Friends concert held on Juneteenth, where Lamar first performed Not Like Us live, along with fellow NBA player and Los Angeles area native Russell Westbrook. DeRozan additionally had a cameo in the music video of Not Like Us, which was symbolically released on July 4, 2024. It won the 67th Grammy Award for Best Music Video. DeRozan got into an altercation with a fan at a sushi restaurant on April 19, 2025, after the fan shone the light from his phone in DeRozan's face.